Today on the 50-pound brain, we're back at it on Higgins bumper mounts. I got my material from McMaster Car. I've had to mill off part of the web so it would be narrow enough to mount on the chassis. There's some interference that hangs down, so I had the clearance for that. We're going to drill our first hole for mounting, and then we can go put them on Higgins and find out our bend points. One thing I learned recently, or was reminded of recently, is that when placing holes, you want to make sure that they can accommodate interference. And in this case, I could have drilled the hole way too close to this web and never got a nut on it. So that's why we're doing this. The first hole location is rather arbitrary. And if we look at our pattern, oh, you see, look, I was about to mess up. So if we look at our mock-up, put it right there. Okay, so put this in here. We need some margin, but not a lot. Let me get a hammer. And then we will start hogging out our first hole. What this will do for us, hopefully, my goal is once I throw this bolt in, this nut, the web should hold the nut for me. Won't have to hit it with a wrench, but that may not actually come true, but we'll see. All right, let's see. Okay, that's good. You get an oil. So let's say you don't have an edge dresser or a countersink. You can always deburr and break the edge on these holes. I'll show you what an edge dresser is. It's one of these things, and you can basically go around and clean up edges on stuff. You can use, for holes, you can use a way bigger drill bit. I learned this in aircraft battle damage class. Just a few squirts. It's very nice. I won't do it on this side because we're so close to the web, but yeah, works good. And there we are. And it doesn't look like it's going to hold it like I'd hoped. That's okay. I could have moved the hole down a little bit, but it's fine. Using the back hole, hang it on Higgins here. We're going to use our transfer punch, find the location of the front hole. There we go. Sweet. All right, let's do this. Yay, we didn't push it into the T-slots this time. There it is. So now we just got to do our bend from here over to here. So now we need to transfer our bend angle from our mock-up over to our real piece. And the angle we came up with in the previous video using our trigonometry was 28 degrees. We need to adjust for the width of the bumper overrider. So that's going to make our angle more shallow. So we're going to end up at probably 18 degrees, give or take. And we need to put it on the right end of the material. That helps too. So I just went back and looked at the video that I drew when I drew the angles and realized that the audio didn't come through. So I'll try and do a voiceover. We'll see when I go to edit this, but if not, if it's unsuccessful or whatever. Yeah, we basically have a 30-degree angle here and here. I'm going to cut that out now. Put on your ear protection. There you go. I can weld that up. Okay, so we're over a little too far. But that's okay, because that's why I didn't weld it up yet. We'll just bend it back. Because I think about there. I think we'll actually be good right there. So we'll go see what that angle is. So we can, when we do that side, we can just match this. Now, I just need to come out so far and have a tongue that the overrider mounts to. So for that, I think I need the overrider. But we can go ahead and weld this up. So before I do weld it up, I want to figure out if I need to bend it to accommodate the width of the overrider and where it's going to end up between the side of the mouth and the turn signal. So that's all I'm doing right here, is just figuring all that out. Alright, so while you were away, I went ahead and welded this up. My big gigantic gaps that I had here. I got that one. I may go ahead and fill that in too. I don't know. I got plenty of meat there now. And so what we're going to do, we're going to transfer our squareness line with our Uber calibrated and accurate framing square to figure out how we're going to bend this end to go into our overrider. Like that. Because that's basically what's going to end up happening. The bend is going to be in this side, and it's going to come all the way across to take out this rotation. This is what the bumper did. You know, if you have a complete bumper assembly. But since we don't, I have to take out the wobble like that by butting it up against here and hogging our hole relatively accurately. So that's where we are. Right, so here's our notches we have to cut out to do the fold. Hopefully I won't have as big a gap as I did on this end after we do the bend. Bend this around. And that should drop into there, and then I can weld that all up. Let's see. Okay. Let's see how we did. So I got to admit, I don't really know what I was thinking when I did the notch thing. But I'm there now, so we're kind of committed. We'll make it work. We're just gonna make this a little easier to bend. Get a little bit sharper bend. So I think we're there. Here's my motivator. My regular glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing here. Go douse this. No, that's too much. There we go. Still got that upward angle, and I don't know that I could have. Yeah, let me give you a better view. What we got here, what we're dealing with. Yeah, I was trying to picture this in my head, and I think, so this needs to come down. I don't know that I could have bent this and accomplished that. Maybe so. Maybe if I would have just done an unangled. Yeah, I don't know. So I think I should have angled it the other way. So I don't know. What I can do is cut that off and then just weld a plate on it. Or weld this thing back on it, cut off square. I may end up doing that. Let me think about that for a little bit. All right, so it's the next day, and I know what I need to do there. I don't know how I would have accomplished it by bending it. So I'm going to straighten it back out, cut it off, but leave enough metal to where I have this inside profile, and then I'm going to weld this or some piece like this on square. And once we figure out where it needs to be on the overrider. So let's straighten this back out. Let's turn the bottles on first. There we go, looky there. Christmas miracle. So here's what we were trying to accomplish, is that basic fit, but I was trying to do it as a fold, which just wasn't going to happen. So I just need to figure out, like, I need to cut this down just a little bit. Let me take this bolt out. Cut that down to the proper width. And then that's what we're talking about right there. So, yeah. So let's do that, and then we can weld this thing up. Figure out where this needs to be. I don't have a whole lot of room to play if I still want to be able to put the bolt in. So it's probably going to end up being about right there. Okay, let's see. And that right there is what we're talking about. It was very difficult to measure, so I didn't get it. So I have a little bit of rotation in it, but I can put, if I get it to where I butt it up tight against one side, it'll be good to go. So, but that is what we're talking about. I'm going to try and put this, I'm going to drill my hole as high as I can go and still get a socket on the fastener. So this will be as high as possible. But yeah, I think we're getting close. Being halfway done. All right, it's actually a few days later, but we busted Higgins out. It's a beautiful day. It's been raining and cold, so he's been locked up in the garage. But it's our off Friday now, and we've got where this needs to go together marked. So we're ready to weld it together and be halfway done with this job. So let's stick metal together with electricity like the cavemen used to do. Okay. So there's one. I just got to do final welding on it. But before I did that, I wanted to fit check it and see how we turned out. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. I mean, considering what we're doing. So I know some people aren't going to like it, but I like it. And it saved me, yeah, probably $650 going this way. Just a big ball of molten metal in there. It'll hold it together. Well, we're done with the first one, and as my brother Rob would say, it looks like a bull's butt sewed up with baling wire. But we learned a lot of things, so we're going to go ahead and press on with the other side. So I didn't do any video building up this other one because it would be lather, rinse, repeat from the first one. But the welds came out a whole lot better. The fit was so much better because we knew what we were doing now, thanks to the experience from the driver's side mount. So let's go see how she fits. Well, they're done, and I think they need to be higher. They're not the lowest thing on the chassis. They are above the chassis rail, but this can come up a little bit, only to about there. This can rotate up, the whole mount can rotate up a little bit more. But for the time being, it'll do. It turned out actually pretty good. Like I said, I wish it were higher, but it'll do for now. I got other things, more important things to do, but Higgins has a bumper. If I decide later on to make them look more like this bumper where it's higher, I can do that. I can use those mounts that I've made to accomplish that. So, but serves a purpose for now. I'm satisfied for the time being with how these turned out. I do wish they were a little bit higher, and I can work that later. But there are other things that are higher priority, like finishing the interior. Putting a glove box in it would be sweet. Right now, I've got registration and insurance card stuck behind the driver's seat with a super magnet onto the floor so it doesn't blow out of the car. So there are other things that have to happen first. But he's drivable. He's fun to drive. It's becoming driving season now. It's finally warmed up, at least today. It's quit raining, at least today, or snowing. So it's time to get him out on the road and let him stretch his legs. Because Higgins is a thoroughbred. So he's a race car. He's got a racing spirit. So we need to go race him. And yeah, we'll get all that other stuff done too. So I hope you enjoy this. There's plenty of things still left to do, so thanks for watching.